Hello everybody, going live tonight. It's going to hook up our About Time for Justice Facebook page as well. Going to go live there. Last couple of weeks have been a little bit quiet. We meant to have Damien Lenane on last week to talk about what he's doing with his PhD in regards to trying to get Medicare into the prison systems. But unfortunately, we couldn't get that sorted out last week, but he will be back on coming up soon. He's on one of our podcasts, which is pretty cool. If you want to check that out, you can jump onto the links on our website and find his podcasts in our links. I don't know if anybody, this is your first time tuning in, but we have been trying to go live sort of as much as possible every week. Sometimes we don't get it to get going every week, but we try to, which has been really good. Just trying to hook up the Facebook page at the moment. Man, I swear every time I try and go live, fuck it up. But hopefully we can get it connected in a second. But yeah, basically me and my dad started this organisation in August 2020. So we do a lot of work in the prison systems, also in the communities. We help people that have been through institutional child abuse. We help them to seek justice, help them start healing and possible compensation. So my dad and I, we've both been to prison. I've done my time in the Queensland prison system. Dad done his time in the New South Wales prison systems. So from the ages of 10 years old for me, I was visiting prison systems. I just grew up around the system, having them jail visits, having jail phone calls. Me and my family going down to visit my dad in jail, basically every sort of couple of months. As I got a bit older, I started going a bit more. So yeah, growing up in them prison systems and then myself going to jail, Dad and I both been through institutional child abuse, which is, really hard. It fucked us right up. We end up with drug and alcohol addictions, end up in the prison systems, ended up involved in gangs. So it was hard for both of us, hard for our whole family. It's been really hard, but we made that change. We started talking about our abuses. So when I say institutional child abuse, that could be like physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse. That could be in an institution. My abuse happened in a Brisbane boys' yard. Dad's abuse happened at his public school when he was a young fella. So that's, boys' homes, girls' homes, foster cares, DOCs, any youth detention centres, any churches or church-run institutions, any missions, reserves, community-based groups, any sporting teams, Girls Guides, Scouts, any after-school cares, hostels, missions, could be any church-run institution, denomination, could be like after-school cares, any of the schools. It could be like Sunday school, could be church, could be camping, trips or anything like that. It also could be, when I said foster cares, it has different names in different states. It's known as DOCs, FACS, territory families. You could be put in a group home setting. You could be fostered out to like a family. As I said, you could be put into group homes. So, and also with the schools, that could be the church, like I just said, or public, private, boarding. This abuse has been happening all over Australia, and it's been happening for a long time. And our organisation has helped many survivors to come forward and tell their stories. Lots of survivors, they ended up on drugs and alcohol, like me and my dad, end up in the prison system, end up in deep, dark, bad, sad places. I remember that one of the first times I walked into the men's jails, I walked into a unit and I started walking down the stairs inside the jail unit, and when I walked down the stairs, I seen these guys doing something, and they were sort of had a spoon, and they were sort of looked like they were playing with their arms. I didn't know what was going on. I was walking down the landing, and they were shooting up, and I didn't realise what they were doing. I freaked out. It was my first time seeing that ever in my life, and it was disgusting. And I only just walked into the unit. So it's one of the first things I seen. I come from the boys' yard where I'd been abused, and then turned 18 and went to the men's prison, walked into the jail yard. First thing I sort of seen was these guys shooting up. And it was a big slap in the face. I was like, what the fuck is this? What's going on here? I didn't know what to do. I was only young. I was only fresh 18. I only just turned 18, like a week or so before, and got thrown straight into this yard where these guys were shooting up. But it wasn't that wasn't uncommon to see in the jail yard. It happened every single day. And I don't know if them guys are survivors of institutional abuse, but lots of the guys who have been through the abuse, they end up on drugs and alcohol and end up in the prison system sharing needles. It's pretty sad stuff, really. I knew at that point that I never wanted to take needles, touch needles, inject needles. So it's pretty hard to witness and see. It was really hard. But yeah, I finished my prison sentence then, and I got out of jail, and I was pretty lost at that point. Got out of jail and basically ended up on the streets. Dad was still in jail. He'd done a 16.5-year prison sentence. So from the ages of 10 until about 26.5, he was in that prison system locked up. I didn't say his skin until I was, 24, 23. Because when you're locked up in New South Wales, you come out in like overalls. So I didn't see my dad's skin, hadn't seen his tattoos, hadn't seen any of that. So yeah, we're dealing with lots of sad stories each day, and we do work in every single prison system around Australia. So any, New South Wales, WA, NT, Tassie, WA, we're in all of them. And in particular, we have most of the people that we help out in the prison systems. So if you do have a loved one who is in the prison system and they don't have any support at the moment, we would love to reach out to them, have a yarn with them, and see if they need any help while they're in the prison system or when they're going to get out. We help out a lot of survivors that have been through the abuse, get them in contact with the appropriate supports when they get out of the system. Because when you get out of the system, you literally get a kick up the arse and a dole check. Sometimes you don't get the dole check, just a kick up the arse. So it's pretty hard. It's very hard. I was lucky because when I was in the prison system, I had good family support. Although my dad was in jail, he would still write to me, check in on me. My mum was out of jail, never been to jail. And, she would always be sending me love and support with letters, money, visits. I had some good friends who used to come and visit as well. Never forget them people. One of them people is locked up right now. And I'm going to go and visit him pretty soon because I don't forget that sort of stuff. I never forget where I come from. Come from Housing Commission. Come from nothing. But yeah, we support and advocate for so many prisoners and people who have been through sad, bad stuff. So we want to keep helping people. Hey brother, how you going? I love your work too. The road to healing, a road to Rua. Good bloke. This fella's a legend. We're going to be doing some work overseas in New Zealand, probably in the next year or so. Hoping to get over there and talk to people. We've been connecting through Instagram. If anyone wants to give him a follow, jump onto Instagram. The Road to Healing, Arotarua. He's got a similar story to me, been to prison, been through some sad stuff, but now he's sort of flipped it around and doing some cool stuff around mental health. So yeah, jump on and give him a follow. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Facebook going tonight, so we're just going live on Instagram and TikTok. But we are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We do have a podcast, so we would love for you to jump on and give us a follow, like, a share, listen. Give us your feedback on our podcast. We would really appreciate that. We would love that, actually. But yeah, I mean, About Time for Justice, was founded by Dad and I, and we both been to prison. He served that 16.5-year prison sentence. I've only been to jail twice, and that was only for 1 year, but I spent my whole childhood visiting prison systems. So I want to help people that have been through the system, been fucked over by the system, who have been mistreated by the system, and even, had bad experiences with legal representation and things like that. We are not lawyers and don't give out any legal advice ever. I am studying to become a lawyer, but I can't give out any legal advice. But we can put you in contact with lawyers if you want to speak to them. We are hooked up with lots of lawyers who can help out with a variety of different things. So if you do want to speak to a lawyer and you want to ask a question, there are no silly questions to ask about Time for Justice. We have a really amazing team. Today we had a bit of a meeting with our team, and it was really cool to see everyone there because, August 2020, it was just me and my dad, just two blokes out there having a crack, fighting for people who have been pushed down to the ground in the gutter like we had been in them jail cells, in them watch houses. And then we got to see my amazing team today. It was really good. We got just such an amazing team. Everyone in our team is so kind and compassionate, and we're just putting in work to help survivors to tell their story every single day like you would not believe. We're getting that much positive feedback, good reports, good sort of reviews. As sad as it is, it feels really good to be able to give back after people have been through what they've been through the institutional abuse. Some of the saddest stories you will ever hear in your life is some of these stories. You wouldn't even believe them. Some of the stories that I've heard is just really sad. And for me, been through what I've been through, what I've seen, where I've been, it's hard. Sometimes you get triggered. I'm always making sure to, speak up about, mental health, and in our organisation, everyone's sort of understands how important it is to debrief about whatever you've been through. And, everyone in the team's sort of on board with that. So it's really good. For myself, I try and debrief as much as possible. Sometimes I don't, and it builds up. Hearing them sad stories, you can make you pretty angry and sort of whatnot when you just continually listen to them stories. So we're really big in our organisation and making sure that you can sort of check off with someone, talk to somebody. My person that I like to talk to is my dad, sometimes my sis. So it's good. And we also have, other people that I like to reach out and debrief to. It doesn't have to be to a mental health practitioner. I use some other techniques like walking, running, training. They've helped me to get to where I am today, but still have my bad times. Every day's a battle. So it's got to turn up, I suppose. I really want to thank everybody who tunes into our show and likes our stuff, comments on our stuff, and shares our stuff. It really means a lot. We're hoping to get some more guests on coming up soon. Been a bit flaky, I suppose, in that regard. But moving forward, I think we're going to have some really good guests, really good topics. We've got a podcast dropping, I think, this week or next, with a host. With a guest, and It should be really good having them with that lived experience, which is really cool. About 2 months ago now, I done a speech at my university, and I was just talking about my lived experience, what I've been through, and I think about 8 years ago now, I was sitting in a jail cell looking at 20 plus years in jail. I was made to wear pink, had no TV in the cell, no exercise equipment in the yard, no contact to the outside world except one non-contact visit a week and 1 6-minute phone call a day to the outside world and 2 hours in the yard. I don't know because I've never been there, but I have been into the outside of the gang unit when we were in lockdown. There was, you get chin-up bars, dip bars, and I assumed only in the pedophiles and all that would probably get the same treatment. They would get all that sort of stuff, but we got stripped of everything. There wasn't even no chin-up bars, dip bars. To 8 years later, fast forward, people listening to my story about my lived experience, what I've been through, coming from that institutional abuse and that gang lifestyle to now helping so many people around Australia. I think it's so important, if you are listening to this now, if you do know somebody who, they don't have to have been through institutional abuse. They might have been to jail. They might have, been kicked down to the ground, kicked to the gutter. There is people out there who are having a crack and can help to support. So if you do want to get in contact for any supports at all, or you have any questions, there are necessarily questions. If you want to call about Time for Justice and have that yarn, we're definitely there to have that yarn. I hope everyone tonight is going for New South Wales because they're going to win. I'm just going to leave the floor for a minute to see if anyone wants to ask any questions, got any comments. Want to ask any questions or anything? If you do know somebody who you think might benefit from this, we're going to. So I've only got this on our Instagram. I think it disappears on TikTok. But if you are on TikTok and you did want to watch this channel and just jumped on, you can watch the whole episode on our Instagram page. Somebody said go Queensland. I don't know who they are. I don't talk to Queensland supporters. Oh, we got another one, up the Blues. That's what I like to hear, up the Blues. So Blues will get the W tonight, and it's my shout for lunch tomorrow if they don't. Hope everyone has a good night, and please reach out and take it easy.